Ian,
Pat.
do you want to look at this Commander 85 Kickstarter?
I did.
Our friends at Playway.
I don't really have anything to say about it, but Playway is back with another.
We love Playway.
Striking
from the I Am Jesus, the upcoming I Am Jesus, and the just released drug dealer simulator games. They have a swath and ultimate fishing simulator that Ian enjoys, right?
I enjoy that game.
They know their simulators. So Commander 85 is on Kickstarter right now. 24 days ago. It's not too great, but to me, this is probably an open order sort of thing. Because I think
they come up with an idea. My guess they put together this little trailer that is, maybe some game.
I think this is in develop. Like this is so basically it's set in 85. You have your Amiga looking computer, Commodore computer, and it's like a combination of Stranger Things. You have a few friends, you're riding your bike, and you're facing off against an AI that's trying to like take over the world or your neighborhood. They show like a nuke explosion happening, and there's games you can play inside the Commodore. And there's like the walkie-talkie used with your friends, straight out of the 80s. This is 85, which is perfect. And it's interesting because it's co-funded by the Ministry of Culture and National Heritage of the Republic of Poland. So this is going to come out. This is fun. They're funding this somehow. And we looked into the news for the I Am Jesus game before, and it looked like there was a lot of Eastern European things. That's why Ian alleged that it was maybe a Russian money laundering front, or we alleged that. But this seems legit. It seems legit, this Commander 85 game.
The one thing I can say about this Commander 85 game is that they kind of nailed that living room aesthetic pretty well for the 80s.
What with the carpet and your boombox laying there. You got your walkie-talkie. My parents never got me that walkie-talkie. It's a TRC. It's a realistic. What was the real brand of that walkie-talkie in the 80s? What was it?
There it is. Commander 85 by Ultimate Games and the Moon Walls. I like how Ultimate Games logo is a fishing hook.
It's a fishing hook?
Yes.
They're hooking you in. Commander 85 is a sci-fi thriller about a seemingly ordinary birthday present that changes the lives of the main characters forever, disturbing the sleepy peace of the Chicago suburbs. However, when the military experiments get out of control and the world faces the threat of nuclear war, you won't be alone. Together with a group of friends and a crazy scientist, you'll have to try and end the Cold War. So it's a war game sort of thing. It's a combination of war games and Stranger Things. Discover the secret of the Commander computers and find out the mysterious truth behind the Roswell incident. All right, so they're going heavy 80s nostalgia on this. When you see like they have the cork board, which a lot of us had in the 80s.
They're putting 85 in the title, so obviously nostalgia is a big...
Which is peak 80s probably, 85, because you still have the early 80s. You got most of what's coming, and technology didn't change that much from 85 to the end of the 80s. So they have the 80s sunglasses here. They have the old camera. They have a Game & Watch, Ian, on the cork board. They have a 3.5 floppy. Now, obviously, in the mid 80s, dominance was still the 5 1/4, but there were 3.5s.
Yeah,
it just was more dominant. But Amiga did, I think, use the 3.5, so that makes sense. I'll have to do that.
I feel like summer '87 would have been peak '80s.
That's because you had all the hair bands and everything by then, but then you don't have the early '80s feeling more. New Wave's dead by then. You don't have like the fashions from like Flashdance have died out.
Actually, maybe it was '85. I'm trying to think of. Lost Boys was released in '87.
Back to the Future was '85.
But I think Lost Boys was filmed late '85 or summer of '86.
I like '85,
and it's a very quintessential '80s.
Oh, by the way, they have the rotary telephone. They have a VHS tape. They have the Walkman there. They have your LCD watch, which now a lot of the old ones are worth money. I saw from like the '70s, like the original ones from the '70s.
Nice.
They have an audio cassette, etc., etc. I like '85, Ian. This is why.
Hit me.
'85. I'm going to base it totally on video games. The market was still dead before the NES came out, but you still had people going into arcades in '85. It was this sort of like in between time in the mid '80s before the timeline started to shift again into differences right there. And people had computers in '85, but it was still like the old school computer experience. Not a lot of people had modems yet. Not a lot of people even had color monitors yet. It was like that, the last of the old tech before it shifted. That's why I like '85. 84 to 86. That's like, and by 85, disco was dead, but you still have people that experienced disco a few years before. By late 80s, disco was like might as well have been a different generation. That's my opinion on 85.
It's true about the disco thing. More so than almost any other music, disco, the vitriolic backlash to the popularity of disco made disco seem 50 years old when in fact it was maybe 10 years old.
It was dead by the early 80s, but people were still going to discos in the early 80s. It was like, it was still popular up until the late 70s. Yeah. So not that I was around for it. I'm not a disco. I was going to, what was it, Studio 54. But people were still going to Studio 54, probably like 81, probably 82.
And then house music came out and disco got its revenge.
Oh, I like disco music. Anyway,
all right.
So this is
disco don't suck.
This is not a lot of money for this Kickstarter. You get the White Hat Early Bird for 20 Canadian, which is 15 US. Why is it in Canadian? I'm not sure. It's out of Poland.
Probably Polish.
No, it says CA, $20. So maybe that's the equivalent. I don't know. So it's like a $15 game. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, check it out. I don't know. I think this company is
interesting.
It's interesting because now we know there's a lot of different developers working on these games, but the aesthetic, they're all in the same universe. They're all in the same cinematic or computer universe. How all these games look exactly the same in terms of their modeling, and they're trying to go, like kind of realistic, but not ultra realistic. But they're modern day games.
Yep.
So, did you have an Amiga, Ian, or a Commodore computer?
Mm-mm.
I didn't have that there.
Apple II was what I grew up with.
Stretch goals. Here we go. Additional data nets to hack. You try to hack off of BBSs in this as well. That's part of the game.
That would be fun.
Use war dialing technique to scan for 10 or more bulletin board systems and crack them to uncover the secrets. Additional games for your C85, they're calling it. The Commander 85 Play Classics inspired by Arkanoid, Missile Command, and Duck Hunt. That's at 11,000 Canadian they reach. Additional VHS movies to watch at 14,000. Readable books. Additional language versions, comic book cut style scenes, and the VR mode for 35,000 Canadian if they reach that. There you go. So,
good luck.
There you go. I think they're doing something interesting.